Welcome. I'm the Deadwood Jedi, and today is part 3 of the Gear Cleanse series. It seems like it's been going forever. As I said, I did this on stream last week, and so now I'm finally able to put it out into video for you guys so you can see. I found this very helpful at the time. I think everybody on stream did too. Hopefully you guys are as well watching at home. But that said, we're going to jump into it. Today we're going to be focused on the jewelry. So we're talking rings, amulets, banners, all of that fun stuff. It's going to be the shorter of the 3 videos, so that should make it nice and easy for you guys as well. But without waiting any longer, let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, so now we're moving on to the jewelry, which is the other part of this, and it's important. You can see we have almost 700 pieces of jewelry, which is crazy and insane. Now, there's one important thing you guys need to know about jewelry. Jewelry is your best avenue to making silver. The jewelry sells for quite a bit. Let me give you an idea. So, this blue, it's a rare 5-star ring. 40K, right? Let's see what else we got here. Rare 5-star amulet, 45. Rare 5-star banner, 50K, right? That's like low stuff, right? We're not talking the 100K for the 6-star epic banner. We're not talking 79 for the 6-star epic ring, or even 64 for the 6-star rare amulet. Look at that, 90 for the legendary here. Like, you get a lot of silver for your jewelry. That's important to know. And like, just to put it in the contrast here, so 11,000 for the 5-star rare weapon, 9 for the helmet, 12 for the shield. Like, you get so much more silver for the jewelry. That means don't be shy selling your jewelry, guys. And as soon as you can farm level 20, I made this change. And I think I recommend this for most people anyway. Once you can actually farm jewelry, I don't care what level you're at. If you're farming and if you're getting 5 and 4-star gear, keep the 5-star. If you're getting 6 and 5-star gear, keep the 6-star. I've been doing this for a long time, and it keeps me with a pretty steady silver income. So one of the things I just do now, especially since I can farm 20, and this account can farm 20, is I blind sell everything 5-star. It's the simplest way to go through this stuff, guys. Just blindly sell all your 5-star gear, and you'll make crazy silver. You're still going to be getting 6-star stuff, and you'll still accumulate a fair amount of jewelry. You don't need a ton of it. You just don't. Like, you have to have your champions ascended to even use it. You only need 1 ring, one banner, 1 amulet. You don't hardly ever switch it out because only the banner has speed, and that's usually why we switch out gears, for speed. So it's not like you have to have a ton of it or level up a ton of it, so you can really keep it pretty easy. The first thing, the only blanket thing in the jewelry that I sell are amulets with flat attack on them. And the reason why is, if I'm going to put attack on my amulet, why aren't I putting crit damage on my amulet? If it's an attack champion, that means I'm putting crit rate on them. If I'm putting crit rate on them, then I want more crit damage, which means I want a crit damage amulet. It's a waste to have attack. As far as like the rings go, let's talk about the rings first. Typically, I'm going to want to pair my attributes, right? So, I think the first part to actually really talk about is your champions, right? So you have a variety of different champions. So if we let's look at a couple of these, right? So Skull Crown, for example, has a very low base defense, only 826. Very high base attack, 1500. If I wanted to, which I won't, if I wanted to build Skull Crown to like sustain, to last in things, I would really need to up her defense in order to make that happen. Allure is a great example of this. Allure has a really high base attack, very low base defense. Her base defense is under 800. Her base attack is almost 1600. And she's used almost exclusively in Fire Knight because she's great for that. Well, here's the thing with Fire Knight. Allure's not doing crazy damage. Even if you build her with attack, she's not going to do crazy damage. Her multipliers aren't that insane. She's there to reduce turn meter. So really what you want from Allure is for her to sustain and to survive. So what kind of ring would I want to put on Allure? I don't want to put an attack ring on her. Attack isn't actually going to help her because her job is not to do damage. Her job is to sustain. So for that, I'm going to want either HP or defense. And with her, because her base defense is so bad. So remember I was talking before about those gloves being you get 4,000 HP on flat stat gloves. She has a base HP of 14,000. So if you give her 50% HP percentage, it's still 7,000. Still an improvement. But she's going to get a lot of help from a flat stat bonus. So these rings only give flat stats on the main part, right? So HP, defense, they only give flat stats. Putting that on a champion like Allure with defense or HP is going to have a much bigger effect than putting flat attack on her. So that's something that we're definitely going to want to use when we look at this. Now, for her, I think she is kitted out right. She has a flat HP, and we want to make sure she's not attacked. So getting her HP higher is good. And then you have base. She has a attack percentage, which is okay. Defense is a possible role as well. So like this is not a bad piece for her because of that. So when we are looking, just in general, when we're looking at this, we're gonna try generally and try and have these stats match each other. So we have HP, flat HP, and we have base HP there. So if you have an HP, what's it called? If the main stat is HP or defense, you're probably going to want HP or defense to match with it. There are some exceptions. Draco is a pretty low base defense. So you want, especially if you're running him in a traditional team, not an unkillable, you want his defense high so he can sustain. So you actually want a flat defense ring. But he gets so much benefit out of getting attacked. A flat defense ring with an attack percentage substat becomes really useful. And so there are some exceptions. So having a little mix of what you have here is good. But typically you're going to want the main stat to equal the base stat. And that's usually how you're going to want to do it. So HP percentage, which HP is good. Attack with attack percentage is good. So you're going to put this on like a Skull Crown, right? A pure attack champion, a Nithway, a Foley, some nuke type of champion. You put attack with attack percentage and just get their damage, the damage they deal to go super high. That's good. This one right here, we have HP with a defense substat. Well, that's okay, but it's a mixed thing, right? We don't generally need that. I'm probably going to be using a defense ring with defense percentage underneath it. So that's generally kind of what you want to look at. So this is one I could sell. This is one I could sell. Attack main with defense percentage, I'm definitely not going to use that. I might do the other way around, but I'm definitely not going to use this. So those are two pieces I can go ahead and get rid of without even blinking. So one of the things I can do is I can look for attack flat stats and see what are the substats we have going on here. These both have attack percentage on the substats. Great. I can hold on to that. This has attack percentage. Great. I can hold on to that. And this obviously is very good. And that's generally how I'm going to look at it. This does not. I don't need that one. I'm going to probably go ahead and sell that. This one does not. I'm going to go ahead and sell that. And those are types of ways I'm going to go ahead and look at this gear as far as getting, as far as going through it and cleansing. The other thing I'm going to be looking at is with these substats. It's going to follow the same pattern as I do with the normal gear. I want at least 2 good substats to really roll this. Now, early on, especially if you're just keeping 6-star stuff, you're not going to be that fortunate. You're going to be like, well, it's a defense main. It's got a defense substat. That's what I need. And that's totally fine. You would maybe take something. Let's see if I can find a good piece that gives me this. So, no, that's not what I'm talking about. So this is a great example of a piece I'm talking about. We have an attack main stat and attack percentage substat. That percentage substat, we need to roll that and hit it. And we did, and that makes this piece worth it. If we rolled double the flat stat, I would sell it. Wouldn't be worth keeping. But we're trying to stack as much of one particular stat as we can. Like this is another example, right? Well, we got defense percentage with attack. That's not what we want. I would have sold this piece. Even with that defense percentage, even with the attack main, I would have sold that piece. It's not worth it for us. But for this account, if I were just to do it, off the cuff, I would want to look through all the pieces and make sure. So I would look through here and see if we get an HP percentage with the HP, and I'm going to roll that, and I'm going to check and see what we get. I'll roll it all the way. I'll probably roll it straight up to 8, see how we do. And if we hit HP, then I'll keep it at that point. So we hit defense. I'm going to roll it to 8. If we hit flat defense again, I'm going to sell it. If we hit defense percentage, I'm going to sell it. If we hit HP, that's where I go, okay, this is a piece to keep. So like, yeah, you can see this. Like, this is not what we need here. It's not like it's a bad piece, but it's not going to benefit us for what we need. I'm putting that on a defensive champion to up their defense, like a Drexstar. I'm putting on an HP champion, like a Mortu, to up their damage as well. Question from the chat. Do you ever put a piece on a champ just as a band-aid until you pull something better? I.e. a 5-star accuracy banner until you pull a better banner. 100% I do that. Do that all the time. You need to make your champions work now, just as you plan for how they're going to work later as you get better gear. So if you have a 6-star band, if you don't have a 6-star band, you put a 5-star on. That makes total sense. And I'm talking about this account particularly is a little bit further along, right? We have 5 and 6-star stuff here. So I can look at certain things. This is a good piece, right? This is a very good piece. Even though it's 5-star, it's a good piece. Nothing wrong with keeping that. We don't need to sell it. It's just he's got almost 700 pieces of gear already. We don't need it all. So by selling that, we're getting him more silver, and we're freeing up what he needs. So this is one of those interesting pieces, right? Defense main with 1 defense substat and a flat stat. I'm going to roll this to 4 and see what we get. In truth, if I needed a defensive ring, I would roll it to 8. Straight up. And the only reason why I would sell is if I didn't get any bonuses. We already hit it. This is a keeper. Maybe not for this account, but for another account, 100%. Because we hit the main stat and we got the percentage we wanted underneath it. That's something I would definitely put this on one of my champions. Nothing wrong with that. The difference between, so you can see like a 5-star piece, it says right here, max 225. That's what a 5-star piece will give you. A 6-star piece, let's see if I can find a defensive one here. See, a defensive 6-star piece, max 265. You're talking 40 defense difference. It's not huge. 5-star piece is just fine for this account. Just fine. Nothing wrong with doing a 5-star piece on this stuff. That's rings. Talking about amulets. Amulets, the big thing with amulets, crit damage ones are great because you always want to do more damage. Flat defense is always good. You probably want a couple flat HPs just for your rare HP champions or an attack champion that just needs a little more HP. Oh, no, you're going to put crit damage on them. Really, you only need a couple of HP amulets for the rare HP champion that doesn't do damage. That's basically it. Basically, your hope is the only person where you're going to want that. You don't need attack, and that, I think, covers it. Now, the one thing I do want to talk about are your substats. There's 2 main subsets you're going to want to focus on. Like, really, there's only 2. There's accuracy and there's resistance. You want those accuracy substats so your champions can land their debuffs, and you want those resistance substats so they can resist them. That's it. That's it. There are a couple champions you don't want accuracy on, so having some stuff that doesn't have it, useful. But typically, when I'm going through this, because I'm only getting the main stats, right? So it's always crit damage, attack, defense, HP. I'm already selling the attack. So crit damage, defense, and HP. And I'm selling most of the HP. So really, I'm looking at defensive amulets and crit damage amulets. So one of the things I do to cleanse it is if it's crit damage and it doesn't have accuracy, I sell it. If it's crit damage and it doesn't have resistance, probably selling it. And same thing for defense. I'll keep a couple for resist. I don't use a lot of resistance champions, but if you do, absolutely, you want to do this. And I don't use, but I do use accuracy on almost all of them. So if it has accuracy as a substat and you got the right main stats, I'm going to roll it up and try and get that. Crit damage, I'm really looking for 6-star because I want the maximum amount of damage on those as well. Yeah, some Casey in the chat is saying make sure you look at the champions, like the faction that they're a part of, because if you don't have champions that work with those stats, it won't matter. And I don't care so much about the faction, but I do care about the champions I have. So knowing the champions that I have and what they need is definitely going to influence some of what I'm rolling. But now, as far as the banners go, it's kind of the same rule, guys. If it's got a speed substat, I'm probably going to roll it. If it's got the right main stat for me. But I do want good substats with that as well. So if it's got speed, that's great, right? So this one, 16 speed. This is already an amazing piece just because it's got the speed. Attack main, it's fine, great. Put it on attack champion. It doesn't have an attack substat. It's less ideal. And you can be a little bit more picky with these, with the banners, because there's not as much stuff that can roll with it. So you're going to want to keep attack, you're going to want to keep HP, and you're going to want to keep defense. You don't have to be as strict as far as like the substats matching up either. Having an HP banner with attack percentage, not the worst. Even with, especially got the speed substat. Defense with defense is a wonderful combination though. When they do match up, that's great. But obviously the big thing are the accuracy. And early on, it doesn't matter what the subsets are. If you have accuracy, that's all you need. And I encourage that. I think that's the way to look at it. And it's kind of the same thing with resist. If you need resist, you just need resist. But always, 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 you're going to want to keep the speed substats. The percentage substats are great, but unless you for some reason don't need speed on that champion, you're probably still going to want to hold out for a banner that has speed as a substat on it. So that pretty much covers the jewelry. It's not a whole lot of questions about that, but I think that's pretty much it. Well, that's the end of part 3. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Some things in here you learned maybe. But these are the way I gear. I do focus a lot on clan boss, so a lot of the defensive stuff I really feel strongly about. There's definitely some arguments to be made to gear stuff or save gear in a different way than I do. So I don't want you guys to feel like this is the only way. It's just that there are going to be some guidelines and principles in here that I think you can apply no matter how you value your gear, or your substats, I guess would be a better way to phrase that. So hopefully there was some stuff in here you guys were able to take away and use in future. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you do know when my next video comes out. It was a pleasure, guys. Till next we meet, I'm the Deadwood Jedi.